everybody, as promised, I have with me Fanny and Vincent from Yard of Blondes. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Hello, everything's good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I'm so excited because your debut album, Feed the Moon, is going to be dropping soon, May 19th, for all of you out there. Oh, love
Hello.
it.
That's the cover.
Feed the Moon. What's going on? Tell me. All right, so hold on. Before we get into anything, I would love to tell people just a little bit my take, my perspective on your album. I made notes.
Go ahead.
Ooh.
So my first thoughts, and after I got to hear the whole album, everybody, so I feel very special. And first of all, let me just say I absolutely loved it. This is a great album, start to finish. Not just saying this for a debut album. It's fantastic. It really is. But my initial reactions were it's heavy but melodic, eerie, pulsing, and edgy. And it reminded me, I almost wanted to call it like a reimagined version of 90s alternative meets grunge, but reimagined in your own way.
That's perfect. What? Can we stop the interview now? Oh, thank you so much. No,
Wow.
that you're hitting home with those words because exactly what we're trying to do.
It really again, like I said, start to finish, one thing that I noticed and that I loved, and I wish more bands would do this, all of your songs had such a different feel to them. And Fanny and Vincent both sing on this album, and there are times when I said eerie because when you're singing together, your voices vibe in this way that is, it's almost transcendent. It's crazy and it is eerie, but in a really awesome way.
Oh, well, we're huge fans of the Beach Boys and the Beatles, and I guess even though we're playing heavy music, that was one of the things we didn't want to lose because we started playing as an acoustic, duet, and we loved singing together. And we were like, okay, we're gonna do heavy music, but we want to keep that thing going on.
And for everybody out there, Fanny and Vincent, you're married, right? Married?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Married. So, when you're around each other all day long, and then you're playing music together, it's nice because I feel like you guys can like bounce ideas off of each other and your energy and really feed from the moon. But I really feel as though you guys work so well together. Like we had kind of chatted about before this started, there's so much care and thought put into this album. You can really feel it. It wasn't something that was rushed. The producing, which I would like to bring up. I always call him Billy Bio because I can't say his last name. I'll mess it up.
Billy Bio is fine.
That's how I feel everybody would know him anyway. Billy Bio from Biohazard produced your album. And obviously this is not his this is not what his style, right? Like this is like so different. So neat to, I'm sure, have someone's ear that is doing something completely different in his own right to then be producing your album. What was that like?
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was
And
great.
actually, we didn't expect to work with Billy in the first place. We met him randomly, kind of. We actually booked his studio for the previous EP without knowing he was the owner. Of the studio.
Yeah, we recorded this EP with a sound engineer who was from Germany. I guess he was just renting the studio.
It was working for Billy.
He was working for Billy, okay.
But we didn't know that at the time. And after we did Murderology, the EP, Billy found our CD in the studio, listened to it, and asked Julian, "Wow, that's pretty cool. Can I reach out to this band? I'd love to work with them."
Wow. I mean, that right there must speak volumes to you guys because that doesn't happen like ever. So
we were like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. And Billy is such a legend. But at the beginning we were a little worried because we were like, oh, we're not a hardcore band, so
Yes,
Right.
you like us.
yeah, will that make sense, you know? And at the same time, we knew that we wanted to have a heavier sound than what we had in the past. So we thought that would be a great opportunity to try to work on that angle. And obviously, Billy brought us more than just the heaviness because he's such an amazing songwriter and producer that he became part of the band basically when we recorded the album, and he brought us many ideas, and he helped us polish every song and arrange everything in the way that it is now.
Old school way, because it took, I mean, it was a long process
Right.
because we really wanted to rework with him the songs, and sometimes we wanted to be heavier and he would be the one saying, no, I think you guys should stay, with this sound, or he would, I mean, he's classically trained,
Yeah, he is.
so
But he doesn't like us to say that.
But everybody else out there you go.
So
That's
it
really
was an
cool.
amazing experience. It was kind of random at the beginning, but it was our first time working with it. It was not going to be the last time.
definitely.
Well, I'd like to say too, I mean, that just shows, for me, obviously knowing a lot of bands and being around them, there's such a difference in producer styles, right? Like some producers are like, yes, I'm a producer, but they don't really do much. Those are the people who are just like kind of pressing buttons, right? But then you have these producers like Billy, from what it sounds like, who is invested, and they're there to really produce and make your music sound the best for you,
Oh, yeah.
and not have you lose your voice along the way, but push you in a way that maybe you might not have. And so it opens up your eyes a little bit more to things. And I wanted to bring that up a little bit too, because I know that you guys have been around for a very long time. I know that some of these songs must have been reworked quite a few times, because I think you had like 2 or 3, right, that were kind of from a few years back at least.
Uh-huh.
And I'm assuming that you've reworked them since you've worked with Billy.
Mhm.
What is that like to kind of change a song that you've been, happy, I guess, with at one point, but then you can see like the potential of it and like where it could go?
Well, actually, what happened is since we started as a duet, an acoustic duet, it took us time to really found our identity. And after we got a little bored of just performing the two of us in an acoustic, setup, Fanny wanted to, she used to be part of a punk band, and she was like, I miss the drums, I miss the heavy guitars and stuff. And I was too, and we were like, okay, let's try to do something with a full band. That's when we recorded Murderology, the EP, but we were still finding our identity.
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to re-record and rearrange some of the songs that were on this EP, because they were the first song that we were really happy with. We were like, okay, Murderology, Monomoria, those songs, they are Yard of Blondes. But now we need to find the sound to those songs, and that's what we did with the record with Billy.
That's
So
awesome.
old songs that were previously folky, some of them ended up on the record
Oh yeah, like
sounding,
Whispers.
yeah, like Whispers. It's the song that I actually sing, became something
I know.
totally different.
I love that song.
And I truly love both versions of the song. Two different ways of playing it, two different
Because
vibes.
Whispers used to be a blues acoustic song, and that's that heavy
Led Zeppelin.
yeah, kind of Zeppelin.
I see in your future maybe a B-side.
Yeah, who knows? Well,
Mhm.
Saying.
we like not to limit ourselves. So
Absolutely. I think that's the best thing, right? I always say that to people too. I don't want to put myself in a box. Like, I'm not only going to interview this one style of band or this one type of actor. Like, that's not what it's about, right? It's about getting everybody's stories. So I don't want to put myself in a box either. I understand exactly what you say. And I think it's so important for bands not to limit themselves because they feel like this is the way I should be because this is what my fans are used to or whatever. But I think that just limits your potential to show what you can do and maybe even push yourself even further than what you normally would.
And if you think about it, you're not even sure you're going to make it in this business. There are chances that you're not going to make it. So
Yeah.
you should enjoy yourself while you're trying to make music. You know, that should be the first thing. If you're trying to do something to, you know, to get a success, well, I think it's the wrong approach.
Success is always second in this business. Like you have to love what you're doing first, you know. And I think anybody through the pandemic, especially, really figure that out for themselves, whether what they were doing before, is this what I still want to keep doing? Do I want to change the way I'm doing it? Maybe I walk away because I wasn't really as happy with it as I was. Me, myself, I know how I am. As soon as I have a microphone in front of my face, it makes me so happy. To talk to people makes me so happy. I love doing it. I love hosting events. The energy for me is I can't get enough of it. And it like brings me to life. You know what I mean? I could be having like the worst day. And then like if earlier my day was absolute crap, you would have no idea because right now I'm sitting here with you and this is what makes me happy. And, you know, I just feel like a lot of bands, you know, don't, you know, it's not like you said, it's not just about what they're doing to make them happy. They're so worried about everything that might come with it. So the happiness is kind of second, and that can't be. Hold on, let's see if you can see this.
Choose happiness.
Aw.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you're make the music you want to do, you know, don't expect anyone to tell you what you should do, or don't you know, have no expectations. Just do what you do the way you do. You have to be unique, because if you're not, well, somebody already got the success doing what you're trying to do. So
Yeah,
worth it.
absolutely. And going back to the pandemic now, I wanted to really bring that up with you guys because pre-pandemic, you had signed up with a label. Before that, you were 100% independent. Then you decided to go with the label. And then, of course, through the pandemic, some stuff went down. You're no longer with the label. You are back to being 100% independent. Let's touch upon that. I want to know your aspects of what you like best about being independent, what you liked best about the label, because I feel like, especially now, independent versus label is a hot topic. Everybody is kind of like, what do I do? Do I, you know, choose to sign with this and have them maybe help me, right? Because like nowadays it's not really all what it's cracked up to be. So,
well, it has to make sense, basically, because the being 100% independent, it's really great because you have every control of every aspect of your music. That's
and
amazing.
you can go, I mean, you can reach out to as many people as you want. You don't rely on other people and a team of people who are going to say to other people, no.
You do it yourself.
Yeah. So we're used to doing everything ourselves. We are the team, we are the creative team, we are the social media team, we are the PR team, we are the band, we are the performers,
the roadie.
we are the roadies, we are the record label, the publishing company. We are it all. And it's so much work, but at the same time, you know, each radio station that's going to plug our song on the radio is going to be like a huge reward, like a victory. So
yeah,
each article, each interview, each step, everything is so, it makes us happy.
You learn to enjoy every little victory because you are the only one responsible. And for the artists that are streaming well and performing well on their own, why would they want a label, you know?
Right.
They totally fine independently if they can make it work and control their own team if they need. But for other bands, I think especially in rock music right now, sometimes it's good to have people that will help you. because streaming is the main important thing right now in this industry. But for a rock band, it's not really, because the most important thing is the live show, right?
Right. Right.
So if you have a label that will give you money to help you get exposed in the right, areas where you should be heard and seen, well, that's good. They're going to invest in on you, and they're going to give you opportunity to be where you should be with your band. So if you sign with a label, make sure that it makes sense for you, that they're bringing you the things you need. And I think
And that they can.
and that they can.
Right.
What happened with Die Laughing Records last year, and they're great people, and Golden Robot too in Australia, they're like a joint venture, is that the pandemic didn't help, and they couldn't bring us what they wanted to bring us in the first place, which was money for promotion. And since they couldn't do it because of the pandemic, well, we were like, okay, so if you're not bringing us what we need from you, can we go back to be independent? And they were totally fine with it. They were like, yeah, of course, you can go on your own. And I think they're going to be back on their feet, and and they probably are doing better now since we're reopening. But we chose to be independent, and we started our own collective. We discussed that, but maybe you want to bring that up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want you to tell everybody if you want to tell everybody about it.
Of course.
We discussed it, but yes, please. I think it's such a really cool idea. And I feel like a lot of people might even have this idea, but no one follows through on it. You know what I mean? But what you're saying is so much in need right now, I guess. It's like a need. There's a need for it. There's a want for it. So I love where you're going with this. So yes, please share this really cool concept that you have.
So last year during the pandemic, Fanny and I was trying to make we were thinking about the past 10 years, because it's been 10 years we're here in LA, that we moved from France. And
it goes like that, right?
In a sense. So we're like, okay, 10 years. What have we accomplished? What can we do better for the next 10 years?
And I was cooking at this moment in the conversation.
Are you a good cook, Fanny?
I'm a great cook.
What do you cook? What's your specialty?
Who's the cook? Who's the cook here?
He cooks all the time.
Fanny, is your specialty like PB&J?
Pasta.
Well, yeah, it depends.
All right, then Vincent, what's your specialty if you're the cook?
Yeah.
My specialty at the moment is tagine. It's really good.
Anyway, so this day,
yeah,
and we were talking about
why don't we first thing we realized is that we felt pretty alone in this scene in LA. We're like, we have friends in other bands, but we don't have many other bands that we know and that we share the stage with and that we get to have fun with. And that's weird, because we played so many gigs around LA, and every time you perform at the slot that they tell you to perform, and then you leave, you go have a drink at the Rainbow, or other bands are playing, you don't even pay attention, and your fans, they come to see you, and then when you're done, they leave.
Yeah, I mean, but the bands themselves do it too. They don't
release
their fans to stay, unfortunately.
We're the same, we were the same, and we were performing because the programmation didn't make any sense most of the time.
Right.
So we're playing, and afterwards it's a reggae band or a ska band, and I love those types of music, but it's not
with you.
Mood,
And our friends, the fans, if they like Yard of Blondes, if they wanted to discover another band, maybe it would have been better to have a band that makes sense right after, or
and a band
Yard
that we can introduce too.
Yeah.
Like, say for the next band, we know them, they're so fucking cool, by the way, we're gonna make a song together. I don't know.
Anything. There's no connection.
Yeah.
I mean, the city is big and everybody's busy, so it's a complicated city as well to have a music scene. But it used to exist back in the
In the
60s.
60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, we
I'd say
had a
the
great.
80s, and I would say close to the end of the 80s is probably where that like dipped out.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
what's funny is other parts of the country
And then it
took
was
it and
Seattle.
ran with it. Like, look at Seattle. How many bands came out together in Seattle? Look at Boston, same thing. Like, it's these bands. Like, I love your idea because it's the idea of bands actually working together and like coming up together as opposed to not even caring about like your fellow, musicians. It is a very strange city that we're in. It's weird.
It's too much competition, I guess,
Also.
because
That's
everybody's fighting to perform because there are so many bands, and the venues, they don't really do their part anymore. I guess it's hard because economically it's hard. But the problem is that they're now trying to fill in the slots, and that's pretty much it. And then they rely on the bands to do the promo, and they're not curating any event anymore.
right.
Or
Sometimes,
promoting them.
sometimes they do, but for the local scene, it's hard. I think
I mean, at
somebody
the most,
has
they're
to
throwing up an Instagram post or a Facebook post or one flyer on their website. They're not really promoting it per se.
and I'm not asking them to put tons of money to promote,
Right.
but maybe think more about what kind of band we can have so we can do a special night,
Right.
and try to rally all the people that would be interested in such kind of music. Try to being smarter and try to come up with concepts, and be creative.
Absolutely.
And so we were thinking about this, and we're like, we should first maybe unite the bands and the fans, and then maybe if we can show to the people that we can unite and create events and show trends together. So if there's a band in the collective that performs, every band from the collective will see them and support them, and we can have also people that are not in bands involved, like
Mhm.
journalists or makeup artists, I don't know, photographer, only passionate people, and if everybody joins, and even if we're not the whole city of Los Angeles, but I don't know, 10, 15 bands, and we have the same banner, and we create this, maybe we can do something. And
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do. So we created a podcast called Hanging on Sunset with our dear friend Fernanda from Brazil. She's a fan of rock, and she's a fan of you now. That you.
I'm such a fan of her. I love her.
And then we talked to our friend David.
Yeah, but that podcast was meant to open a discussion
Yeah.
also with the actors in the industry and see why it is like this and how we can improve with their insights. Like we talked with venues managers. You interviewed a lot of people from
Yeah.
around Los Angeles, so
And
It's
everybody's
interesting.
pretty aware. I mean, everybody. It's just, I think nobody put the work, probably. But also, I did realize that I didn't know all the micro scenes that exist around LA, and that
Right.
I was very naive, I guess, because we come from France and we had in mind the American Dream, the Sunset Strip, and so we were expecting something.
Sorry. Everybody expects, I did too when I first came out to visit. Everybody expects, you just have this thing in your head, this notion, right? And then you get here and you're like,
Mhm. Yeah, but
you're holding up the photograph, right? And you're like, this isn't the postcard. What am I looking at? Right? Like
totally. Even though when I when we perform at the Whiskey or at the Troubadour or the Viper Room, it's always great because there's so much history there, you know?
Of
So
course, of course.
it's always a pleasure. But we have to acknowledge too that there are other thriving micro scenes in other genres of music too. There's a very active scene in Orange County, for example. Very
Oh, there's a huge scene
fun,
in Orange County.
hardcore. And we got
Echo
to
Park. I mean, you know, all these Silver Lake, like they have all of these like small clubs, and on almost, you know, not right now, but on almost any given night, like you can go and you can find a club that's playing live music. It's really like that's one of the things I do love about this city is that there's just a vast array of so many different bands, so much different genres of music everywhere. It's just, yeah, you got to go out and find them. And
totally,
Right.
totally. And it's exciting because now that things are reopening slowly, well, you know, live music is going to start again. Actually, it already started, and
yeah,
we're going to perform soon. I can't wait.
yes,
And I
you
can't
are.
wait to reach out to all the new friends we
Exactly.
discovered during the pandemic and do stuff together, you know?
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty cool. And it starts for us next week.
Yes.
Yes. So just so everybody out there, I'll drop it again at the end of the show too, but let's start with the 19th reminder. Feed the Moon drops. The album actually drops. You can get it anywhere. So don't be like, where do I get it? You can get it anywhere. But another cool thing, I'm going to segue really quick into this other topic, which is they're also doing limited edition vinyl presses and limited edition vinyl presses. And what's really cool, I think, about that is I love a record. I love the tangibility of it, holding it. I think it's a really cool thing that kind of got brought back. What made you decide to have it on record, like on vinyl?
It's a dream.
It's a dream come true. Exactly.
We spent so much time on this record. We had to have it in, you know,
The big format.
the big format.
Yes.
we love vinyls, you know. We buy vinyls and we have our little setup at home, so we know that there are people like us and they still like to buy vinyls. And since CD is pretty much dead, it's good to have vinyls. And they're better than the CDs anyway. So you can stream it, but you can also have the vinyl. So
But
it's
we also
pretty
have
cool.
the CDs.
Yeah, we also have the CDs. Got everything except the cassettes, but maybe
Those are coming back
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Get your pencil and wind up the.
Oh my God.
For those of you that are too young for cassettes, look it up. You'll know what I'm talking about. But I gotta get back to your album, the core of like why we're having this amazing conversation. You like I said before, your album is so cool, like start to finish, because like there's so many different songs. Some of the songs for me that popped out were Murderology, love it. I love Hummingbird, Whispers, and Because You're the River. Oh my God, like Because You're the River is, I mean, it's just so different than what anyone's putting out right now. And it's one of like the slowest building songs and crescendos into like just this wave of emotion. I don't really even know how to express the song appropriately. But Vincent, your voice is just so ethereal, and it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. And you know, I mean, no offense, sitting here talking to you, you wouldn't know that sound is coming out of you, you know?
Thank you so much. And this is very important to me because this is one of my sides too. I like the acoustic folky music, and you know, I'm a huge fan of the Beatles and Neil Young, and that's how we started the band. So I wanted to have the last track, you know, acknowledge the beginning.
I like paying
Where it
tribute.
all started.
Yeah.
And I always loved this song, Because You're the River. And you know, when we're friends or we're doing a party or anything, it's late in the night, I will grab the guitar and sing that song pretty much every time because I like it and our friends like it. So I was like, yeah, let's record it for the record and have a little, special arrangements with the guitar and the drums. Still, they're still, distorted guitars, but lightly in the back. It's
Yeah.
nice to have a last song to finish the journey of Feed the Moon. That you know, and then you can start sleeping during that song.
It's the cool down.
It's the
Yeah.
cool, exactly after you work out.
I mean, but seriously, like you could take this album with you to the gym. You could take this like if you're in the car with your girls, like heading out, for the night. Like this album is very versatile. It can be with you for so many occasions. I can already see that, which I just think is amazing. And you've already gotten a little press from it. Like I know hold on. This is Murderology got played on K-Rock before. And you've been on compilations, 2 of them now. 2 like love song compilations almost. 62 love songs and I Love You All the Time, which was to help the victims of the Paris attack, correct?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
that's
Yeah. So very cool. What was it like
So,
being asked to be on either of these compilations and like what that meant for you?
well, both of them, it was a very strong feeling. First, Highway 62 Love Song, it was really at the beginning of our journey as the Art of Blondes, and we were still an acoustic duet. And we just did our first DIY tour
Oh my
in our
God.
SUV. And we just landed in Joshua Tree for the first time, and there was an open mic night at Pappy and Harriet's, and we met the most wonderful people over there. And the host
Oh,
of the night was Teddy Quinn, and Teddy Quinn is kind of a legend over there. He's a talented musician and is known as the mayor of, of Joshua Tree, even though he hates it when we say that. But he invited us on this compilation and meant a lot to us because it was a locals only compilation. And we were like, what? Why are you? We're French. We just
Right.
live in the US. We live in LA. It was like, yeah, I fell in love with you and your music. I want you to be on that record. And there were also other amazing people on that compilation. Eric Burden from The Animals, who's a legend, and
I
Victoria.
was just gonna bring that up because the Animals are one of my favorite bands.
So
And like they're so underrated, I feel like, and it's almost like people forget about that band. And I just think of like so many bands that must have been influenced by them,
yeah,
just from their sound. And they were very edgy and different for the time. And I mean, again, you have like acts like the Beatles who were just so much more prominent. It's like a band like the Animals probably didn't get that recognition that they just
yeah.
deserved. I mean,
right. And for us, it was the beginning. So we were like, oh, that's cool. They were pretty. Everyone is pretty welcoming with us.
yeah.
Okay, we're all set. And then it took us 10 years to make our debut album. And the other compilation, well, the Paris attacks, that happened. One of the attacks, the terrorists came into the Bataclan. It's a popular venue in Paris, and Eagles of Death Metal were playing,
Yeah.
and they shot and killed many people. And after this happened, Jesse from Eagles of Death Metal,
Yeah.
that we met through our friends Sinners, which is another French couple in LA. They're playing punk rock, and they were touring with them. So we got to know Jesse, and we spent some evenings together, and they told us about this compilation and asked us if we wanted to join. And of course,
Of course,
we
yes.
wanted to do
Yeah.
it so badly because we're French.
We were really affected by this terrible.
Yeah. Whenever there's a way to help, big, small, whatever, I think it's really cool that people take the opportunity to do that. So, I mean, kudos to you guys. And I get that it touches home, especially, with those attacks.
That was something small from our part, but it was just and we took that song, the Eagles of Death Metal song, and translated it in French, and that was our first song in French we ever sang.
Yes, and I actually really liked it. And,
Yeah.
and that's when he told us, why don't you guys write songs in French?
Hold on, hold on. I'm
Try
gonna
it.
mess it up. I'm gonna try it though.
Try it.
Je vais danser tout l'été.
Yeah! You said it perfectly.
I'm so excited. I was so nervous to say that.
So that was the song we recorded after that. Billy like really like influenced us in making another song in French for
But
Yardo.
tell me about that process. 'Cause I did want to talk about that because I think that's really cool. When people incorporate different languages into, a mainstream American, playlist. So you decided to do it. Now you have this song. Like, so how do you promote that? How do you, I guess, make it interpretable for people,
We wanted to do something simple, I guess, with the song incorporating French, and I don't know. I don't know exactly. All I can remember is I wanted to do something kind of sarcastic, because the meaning is I want to dance all summer long, and we're pretty much always doing sad songs, And I wanted to do something a little bit like a Pixies song, on this
Okay.
song. That was the main goal, I guess. And so I don't know. Yeah, Je veux danser tout l'été came up.
You say
Like-
it so much better than me.
But actually, we're French, and it's hard for us to sing rock music in French, so we don't even play at shows anymore.
Interesting. Maybe if people are yelling encore at your next show, that could be encore.
And you know why? Because people in France hated it.
Why?
Because it's in French, and they were like, "Oh, they're selling out," or
No, some friends actually, because the song actually went, it was plugged in radio stations, and
it was on MTV in France.
yeah, and it was on
Cool.
Star, which is another major TV channel where they would play the music video, and the song was also plugged into grocery stores and stuff, and sometimes we'd have our friends calling us like literally crying, "Oh my God, I'm hearing you! I'm in the store! I'm in the store! This is your song! Listen, listen!" This kind of messages. It was funny. I mean,
That must have felt so cool though, right? Like you're in a grocery store.
It's Steve from Sinners who killed the song, because he hates it so much that when we perform it at the live show, he gets out of the room and then comes back. Fuck you, Steve.
You suck, Steve. That's funny. Okay, so between all the new songs and the older songs that you've vamped up for your record, what are some of your favorites and your favorites that you wrote or that you perform? What are some of your favorites?
My absolute favorite is Hummingbird.
Hey,
Yeah.
time out. Would you ever kill a hummingbird?
No. I love Hummingbird. No, I think I love pretty much everything about this song. I don't want to sound, pretentious or anything, but the meaning of the song, this fucking bass line, come on.
She can say that because Billy came up with the bass line for this one.
And when we were recording it, he was already telling me, it would be nice to have some backing vocals on this chorus now. And recording this song was really a pain, because it doesn't sound, it doesn't sound complicated. It sounds, it's groovy, but it's actually not, it's one of the toughest songs to play for me, especially during the chorus. And I was like, so it's hard for me to record. How am I gonna sing those backing vocals when we go on stage? And I worked so hard on this song, it became really my favorite. I feel it feels so good to perform this,
Yeah,
this song with, and yeah, the meaning again, I think
hits
it's
home for you.
good.
What
And
about you, Vincent?
you like Hummingbird too, right, Jess?
I love it. Love it. Like I told you, that was one of my favorites. I wrote that down. It was one of my, one of my favorites for real. I mean, all of them are just so good. I just picked the ones that like really resonated with me. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't just sit
Oh yeah.
here and name off every song that you guys.
So I love Do You Need More and the Murder Rocky and the Lowland, You and I. My favorite one is Teenage Dreams, I guess. It's a song at the end of the record. And I don't know, to me, it represents what the sound I wanted to achieve with this record. And I love performing it live. And to me, yes, that's one of the best songs we have. But I don't know. I love performing You and I too, and Do You Need More and Murderology. I love the chorus because it's very, very poppy, but in a good way, very catchy.
Yeah, it's fun.
So
Yeah, my second favorite is Do You Need More? And you
Yeah.
almost threw it away.
Like Hummingbird.
Like,
But that's funny, right? Because sometimes the things that we think are either really good or really crap, other people think the opposite. So it's like you never know. So that's really cool and I like that you guys have different opinions on what your favorite is in the album. That's really cool. So the first show that you're going to be playing live in front of people in the flesh once again at the Wayfarer on May 20th.
Exactly.
Have you guys played there before?
No. We've been invited by our friend Silence of You that we met during the pandemic through this idea of a collective.
Excellent. And they'll be playing with you, right, that night?
Yeah, they invited us to the Wayfarer, and we were like, oh, that's perfect because we're going to release the record about the same time. So let's make it a release party.
Perfect.
So very, very excited.
That's really cool. I like that venue a lot, and everybody that works there is super nice. So you'll have a good time.
I can't wait. And a lot of people are going to come, lots of friends. Billy's coming. He's bringing a bus from El Segundo, he told me.
really?
He said,
are you guys going to be fancy and sit on the bus all night?
Okay.
Yeah. And, maybe we're going to do a special episode of the podcast during that night too.
Very cool.
So definitely it's going to be a celebration because of the record, of course, but because it's the first fucking gig in a year and a half for us.
Oh,
yes. I mean, that's crazy, right? It's crazy. I just can't wait for it all to be normalized again. And then 2 days after that, so in case anybody can't make it to the Wayfarer, because you're not in LA or maybe you live in another state.
You're not living in California, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico.
Stop it.
You can't.
So if you're like 400 miles away, you should be at this show. But other than that, if you're further away than that, if you're 401 plus miles away, on May 22nd, Yard of Blondes will be performing live, but streaming live for everybody. So where is that going to be on? What platform are you streaming from?
The platform's called Veeps, VEEPS.com.
Okay.
And they are specialized in doing those live stream shows, and there's a chat at the same time, so it's pretty cool.
Great.
So people are going to be able to see it live, and then they can rewatch it for several days. So it's
wonderful. And where do they log on to do that? Do they go to veeps.com?
They can go to veeps.com directly or to yardofblondes.com.
Perfect.
Every useful information about this.
Yes, yardofblondes.com has everything on it, everything, which I love because Well, I mean, earlier in the episode, we were talking about, doing how bad, you guys are your social media, you're the promoters, you're the musicians, you're the tour guide, you're doing everything. I think a lot of bands, we talked about this, Vincent, but I think a lot of bands forget, your band is more than a band, it's a business, and everybody in the band needs to be doing their job to make the business survive. And if a band member is a weak link who isn't doing their quote unquote job, it really hurts the overall band. And lots of musicians nowadays don't really want to deal with that, and I think everybody has to be able to step up to the plate and
I mean,
do
I,
their part.
I I hear them. It's an all another craft that you're doing. But if you want to succeed, sorry, in this business, well, I guess there's no other solution than being your own entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it sucks at the beginning because you have to get used to all the social networks, all the tools you need to master to reach out to the people when you're doing the PR. But in the end, the reward are so much better, and everything is you can feel every victory like it's something big, even if though you're playing on a small web radio or on a small blog. Well, you're very happy because you're being exposed.
Right. 100%. But no, I get what he's saying. He doesn't mean exposed like that. Fanny, get your head out of the trash.
Excuse my French.
Oh my God, it's perfect because you can do that. I love it. But really, the what's really cool though for you guys is that you it seems like you have it down, like what it takes, what you need to do, and you're not complaining about it. You're like, this is what we have to do. It's just a different mindset. And
I agree 100% with what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm thinking about the young people right now that are not even 20 years old, and they're using TikTok, and they're doing great because they know how to use that tool, and it's great because it's their generation tool. Problem is for us. we don't know how to use TikTok and stuff like that, so you have to learn again every time.
But I also don't feel like TikTok is we need, I think I said this to you, we need we need rock talk, because TikTok is really more for pop and that sort of thing. But if we had a rock talk, maybe more rock and heavier bands could be a part of it, because I don't think it fits. It doesn't work in the TikTok field. Rock, for some reason, and metal does not work in that social media platform, where it can in Facebook and it can in Instagram, but not on TikTok for some reason. I haven't seen. I mean, I'm sure that there are. I'm not diving into TikTok like it's, my business or anything, but I feel like it's harder in that genre to succeed on that platform.
Yes. And I think the rock and roll business had a hard time with all social networks anyway. When when Instagram came, people didn't really know how to use it, and because it's contradictory with the whole image of rock and roll in the first place, where you should be mysterious,
I think,
and dark, and we're not sharing our feelings with you.
Yeah.
I think Dave Grohl is
He's a good
he's right.
example.
We watched his new documentary last night.
What drives us?
Oh, okay.
So inspiring.
It is.
At the end of the day, what's a rock band? A band, instruments, a van, and we go on tour. And that's it. We don't need fucking TikTok.
Well,
TikTok.
if you find a way to make a living doing rock and roll, well, that's good. If it doesn't imply being on TikTok, better for you. But if you find a way to crack it, I mean, there are bands for example, I talked with Crash Overcast. They're a band from the OC, and they are in the scene of emo, and they're doing perfectly well on TikTok because they're doing some comedy stuff, and they're using the kind of revival for the pop punk kind of style of music. And kids today, they love that style of music. It seems, with Machine Gun Kelly and young blood that are rappers turn punk rockers. And well, good for them. They're reaching out to new audience, and there are thousands of people that drove back to their Spotify, and then eventually they will go see them at a show. I would really wish for them. So I mean, there's a path for everybody. Find your own path, but you have to do the work.
100%. 100%. You're playing your live stream on May 22nd from Firewater Studios, okay, in LA here, and that's where you guys recorded your album.
Exactly. Yeah. It's Billy's studio.
Oh, that's Billy's studio. Okay, excellent. So that'll be really cool that it's happening right out of there. It's gonna almost feel like you're at a rehearsal, I bet.
Oh yeah.
It's full circle. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we can't wait to just go back there and replay all these songs we spent time crafting with Billy, and play them, play the whole record. We'll try. We'll see.
With Billy, the sound.
Billy's gonna be engineering everything, and our friend Antoine Combel is gonna be the director of this live performance, and just can't wait. Really.
Sounds like it's going to be awesome. What do you guys want people to take from your album? What do you hope people walk away from after they hear your album?
I really wish that they will be listening to it several times. Not just one good impression, but I really hope they get familiar with the songs, and if it resonates with them, it becomes part of their collection. I mean, my goal was always to kind of write timeless music, kind of. I want to be in the same category of, the Beatles and Black Sabbath and stuff like that. I know we're not, but if some people believe that we can be in their collection of records, well, I'd love that. And if they want to see us perform live after, well, then we won.
Yeah.
We'll buy a van and come to you.
Like you said, it's like playing live shows is really like where it's at, right? So if you hit your marks while you're performing live from what you did on that album, I mean, it's just going to be incredible. And you in general just have energy, so I can't wait to see you like actually rocking out and playing these songs. I can't wait to feed off of that with you guys, because I think that's going to be the best. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this. One random question for you: what is the biggest difference that you've noticed in the way that music is handled in the United States versus France?
Well, one of the biggest differences, it's hard to make a living playing rock and roll in France. I think it's
time out. It's hard to do that here too, Vincent.
It's hard too.
But in France, you can tour easily for bigger acts.
Yes, you can
quickly.
You can do tour support. Yeah. And there's another system in France that the government actually gives money to the venues. Yes, they're state government funded venues, and in their mission is to develop younger bands too, which is pretty amazing. So if you start a band in France, you go to see your local venue and you get a connection with them. In 6 months, maybe you're going to be opening for a bigger act if they like what you do, and then they're going to give you opportunity, rehearsal spaces, and they really found culture in France. Well, that's a great thing. In here, it's really hard, but there's a bigger market
everywhere here.
Yeah.
Now the opposite. I think in France there are, what we call boxes. If you
Mhm.
belong to rock music, you're you're stuck there. If you're a rapper, you're stuck there. I feel that here in the United States, you can be anything, anytime. You can reinvent yourself. You can collaborate more. It's not something that is exceptional to have a rapper and a rocker, working on the same song.
It's more
Um,
open maybe here.
I feel that it is. Um,
So yeah, there are positive sides and negative sides in
we
both
chose
countries.
this side.
I
But we chose the
mean,
hard way here.
I mean, I just think, anything in entertainment, it's so hard to break into, and it's so hard to, just get that chance. Sometimes it really does, like, people say it all the time, but it's true. If you have that one right person that hears you, sees you, likes you, it's like, it can just change your life forever. It can change everything. And I don't know if that's like that in France, if like those opportunities kind of happen. And I do hope that they still are happening here, because instead of just finding people on Instagram or on social media, it's really cool when it's like a genuine connection, and they're found because, oh, I just happened to be at this club and I actually heard you playing live, and really liked your sound or whatever. I just think that's really a really cool thing that can happen. So I hope
That's
that
the
it still
American
happens.
dream. That's the American dream you're describing. That it could happen
Absolutely.
for
Absolutely.
anyone
Yeah.
at any time. And we're all chasing that, I guess.
Oh, guys, I loved having you on. I love that you were just so open and, amazing. And I really, really can't stress enough to everybody out there. Album drops May 19th, Yard of Blondes, debut album, Feed the Moon. I'm not lying. It's amazing. It's a great record, start to finish. It's beautiful the way you guys arranged your songs. Again, like I said from the start, thoughtful. Your whole process obviously was very well thought out. And to have so many different songs sound alike but so different from each other, to know that they fit in the same band but also could be on different albums from each other even, it's really great. And just the flow of how you decided to put everything on the album.
We decided to start with a best of.
Huh?
We decided to start with a best of.
Okay, cut that out.
No, he means you decided to drop the best of album and then you're just gonna keep going bigger and better after that.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then, guys, on May 20th, the Wayfarer in Costa Mesa, get tickets on your website.
Yep.
Right? Get tickets on yardofblondes.com. And then on May 22nd, you can go to veeps.com or yardofblondes.com and watch their full record live streamed there, which is going to be so cool from the Firewater Studios. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see that. I want to see your energy. I know you're just going to, like, especially you, Fanny, like, you're my little I already can see it. I already know. So I'm going to be like dancing along with you. I'm very excited.
It's gonna burst.
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. Anything you guys want to say? Anything you want to end with?
Well, no, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for
and
such
I
a
hope
great
to meet
interview.
you very soon.
I know, in person, not this
Oh
Zoom.
gosh, yes. Can't wait.
And then we're gonna hug. Yeah, that's right, people. We're gonna hug.
Because we're vaccinated people. Yes, go get a vaccine now.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate having you on. Everybody out there, go to yardofblondes.com and check out everything. They have links to all of their social media there. You don't want to miss it. You want to have this and maybe even get a limited additional vinyl record in your hand if you're into that sort of stuff, because I just think that's going to be, I think this album especially is going to be great. on a vinyl. I really do. I think this album's going to be wonderful on a vinyl. It has that perfect sound for it, I think. So thank you so much, you guys. Everybody out there, make sure you click, like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. Until next time, I'm Jes Fama. Be kinder than necessary, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Please hang up and try again.